Hello, my mindful mamas. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Bethany Bradshaw, and I'm here waking up the world one mama at a time. Today's videos are all about personal development and how I've applied that to my life. Some tips and tricks about what I do to better my mindset and help my family out in the process. So I guess I want to start by just saying that in some of these videos it might seem like I have it all together and that, I'm thoughtful and mindful all the time and I'm just happy-go-lucky and nothing really brings me down. So I'm real, just like at your house things happen, and it's just like I said in my first video, it's embracing the chaos and to find what works for you to help with a positive mindset, to help with manifesting what you want in your life, to just fill your cup in general. And like I said, to have a happier family, because if you are happy, then you can share that with others. If your cup is full, then it's really hard to focus on everyone else's needs when you're like, what about me? What about mom? All right, so I'm going to share a little bit about where I came from. I was taking on a lot of the parenting early on. My husband at the time was away for an extended period, and so I just had to learn real quick what parenting was all about and how to cope. So my mom helped me out a lot. I was living with my mom for the first month of my daughter Ari's life, and it was just a real eye-opener about what being a mom entails. So I remember my daughter was like 3 days old, and I was exhausted, feeding her with a bottle at the time on the recliner, and I heard my mom laughing and thinking, oh, or nudging her husband and like, oh, look, she's falling asleep. The bottle's not even in the baby's mouth. So I was in zombie mode. I was definitely in autopilot, just going through the motions. I love my little girl to death, but there was just, it was kind of shelter shock. Like, a lot of moms go through postpartum depression, and I think I got a taste of that. I never went to the doctors and I never got anything confirmed, but I think a lot of us moms go through that period where we're like, wow, this is really what it's about. So no one tells you about all this, about your mental health and how that plays in with everything. So I remember, like I said, so my mom laughing about me falling asleep trying to feed my daughter, and just opening my eyes and being like, do you want to feed her? Because I don't mind at all. I'll just continue sleeping right on the recliner. I also remember this was probably the first week or two, me being new to, the title of being a mom, and my little one sleeping next to me in her bassinet, and I would check on her like every 45 minutes, like, oh, is she still breathing? Is she still alive? Okay, great. Like, I'm doing this. I've got this mom thing down. Well, also in that period of time, as a lot of you new moms know, your kiddo doesn't really understand the difference between morning and night yet. They've been in the belly, pitch black for the longest time, so when the sun is up, that means nothing to them. They haven't really made those connections yet of, oh, when the sun's up, I'm still up. When the sun's asleep, I'm asleep. Obviously, babies sleep a lot more than just when the sun's up or down, but just as an example. So my daughter, being a couple weeks old, she had no idea what day and night was. I remember, I don't know, must have been like 11:45, just walking her and rubbing her back and humming to her, just back and forth in the room that night. And I remember having this thought, like, why in the world do people plan on having more than one child? Like, they're insane. Have they lost their minds? They must have completely forgot. Like, their mind must have just repressed all of this information so that they make that choice to have another kiddo. I remember just thinking, like, people are insane. Who chooses to have more than one child? Here I am. So I have 2 kiddos of my own. Like I said in my previous video, I have a stepdaughter who's 7. And so how did I come to share my experience, or how did I come to this place where I felt like I was bold enough to share my experience, that I felt like what I had to say held some value? So a lot of you moms might be thinking now, or maybe playing over in playing over and over in your head, I'm not a good mom, what I say doesn't matter. I could do everything under the sun and it wouldn't change anything. I'm not appreciated. The only title that I have is mom. I no longer can identify with being a best friend because who has time for that? Or I can no longer identify with being that fun person out at the bar if that was something that you enjoyed. Or just, I know for me, after having a kiddo, I felt like my only title was mom, and that created a lot of stress for me, and maybe some mild depression in there. So what I came to learn was The Secret, the law of attraction. So if anyone has ever seen the movie The Secret, comment down below The Secret to share that you have that knowledge and that you've been exposed to this amazing idea. So really what the law of attraction is applying your, or making your beliefs match what you want in life, what you want your vision to be in life. So your beliefs frame your actions. It all ties in. So if you believe that that you're never going to be enough, and that you're ugly, or you're fat, or you're stupid, any negative things that you're thinking in your head, the law of attraction is to switch those to become the person that you know that you can be, the person that you feel inside, the person that you feel in your heart. So you're made up of your ego and your heart. So a lot of the times we think with our ego, if I get this, I'm going to be so happy. If I do this, I'm going to be so happy. And you're kind of, you're creating distance between what you want and what you already have. So you're looking out for all these things. Like I said, if I can make $50,000 more this year, I know I'll be happy. If I purchase my dream car, I know that I'll be happy. If my husband only did this, I'd be happy. If so and so would just stop doing this, I'd be happy. The law of attraction, the focus is on what you want. So your attention, energy flows where attention goes. So if you're focusing on how terrible your kids are being, you're going to see more opportunities of when your kids are playing that part. If you're thinking, my kids are angels and they're learning about how to cope with their emotions and they're still curious about the world because they don't have it all figured out. So you might respond differently in a situation of stress if that's your belief. So some things that I did to change where I was at, like I said, I was walking around zombie mode on autopilot. Like, can't believe people have more than one kid. Are you insane? You've got to be crazy. So instead of looking outside of all these things, if I get this, I'll become more of a happier person. So you have to look from within. You got to look within your heart and just know that you're already that person. You have the capacity to become that person that you see in your mind, that you envision. A lot of people say they're becoming their best selves. So you're already your best self. You just have to take the actions from now until forever, and don't let that stress you. Don't get too stuck in the process, or the final outcome that you want to see. Kind of don't obsess over that, because that's just, like I said before, that's just going to create distance between what you think that you already have and where you want to be. It kind of puts things on a platform. Say like you have a crush or something. This might be a little bit more relatable. Say you have a crush and you put them up on this platform, like they are just, it's like almost God themselves. Like, you're never going to reach that because they're on a whole other level than you. So in the law of attraction, they would teach you to bring them down. Not really bring them down, but kind of put yourself at the same playing field as them. Don't think of them as somebody higher up than you, because like I said over and over again, that's going to create distance and it's going to make it unattainable because it's away from where you think you are. So to really have that belief inside yourself, inside your heart, that you are already who you want to be, you really just have to drop the ego, which is this superficial part of yourself that thinks, if this happens, I'm going to be happy. So you really got to drop the ego, listen from your heart, and something that helped me a little bit was to just be grateful for where I already am, and to start self-affirmations. So to affirm to myself that I am enough, and what I say is valuable. I am a good mom. When you say these things, it's not just wishful thinking, or I'm gonna trick my mind to make it seem like I really am a good mom, or I really am beautiful, or I really am happy. So you really have to embody that feeling. So what would you feel like what do you think you would feel like if you already had that 50,000 extra dollars a year? Or how would you feel if you already had that dream car? Embody that feeling like you already have it. And you're gonna condition your mind, not trick them. It's kind of like a practice thing. You've probably trained your brain up until this point to pick out the negatives, or to think about how lousy your situation is. If you're watching this video, you want to learn about how to better take care of yourself, if you want to learn about self-love and self-care, then you're probably watching this video thinking that you're not there yet, or you need some tips on how do I take care of myself, because I feel like I have no time to even take a breath. So, like I said, I've used the law of attraction. If you watch The Secret, they explain that a lot better than I do, but basically your beliefs frame everything. If you focus on somebody not being enough, or having lack of something, then it's going to create that lack in your life. So to think about the positives, where you want to be, or what you want to start becoming. You already are that person, but what actions you want to take to share that person that you already know you are with the world. So I did the law of attraction, and let's see what else I have on here. Okay, so something that I attempt to do every night before I go to sleep is to meditate. I just started this a couple months back, and it's really helping. So something I do in my meditations is to first I focus on breathing, to breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And the more that you focus on the breathing and not so much of the chaos and the dialogue going on in your mind, it's going to slow things down. You can still have that dialogue, you can still have that internal monologue going on, but to just observe it from like a third party, observe it as if you were an outsider looking in on those thoughts. So don't put so much energy or so much charge as to if that thought is a negative thought or a positive thought. Just think of it as being a thought, a neutral standpoint. So back to the affirmations, so say you were doing your self-affirmations in the morning, and you can't believe that you're a beautiful person. You can't look in the mirror and say, I'm a beautiful person and I love exactly who I am. If you can't say that, then say something that's a little bit more neutral that you can actually believe. So instead of, I am beautiful and I love every part of my body, maybe you could start by saying something neutral, like, I have a body. Everybody has a body. So then you can choose to nurture that body, or you can choose to, trash it. You can fill your body with McDonald's, and you can watch Shameless over and over on TV, and you can tell yourself every day, I'm not good enough and what I say doesn't matter. Or you could start from a neutral standpoint. I have a body. I have a voice. Does your voice have value or not? Don't put that negative or positive on it yet. In the beginning, you just want to look at things as a neutral standpoint. So I have a voice. I have a body. I am a parent. And once you add something small every day and you're consistent with it, you're going to start reaping the benefits of it. You're going to have a better mindset. You're going to know that you can commit to yourself again. So when I say small little things throughout the day, meditating before bed, like I mentioned, observing your thoughts in meditation and not putting such a charge on them, negative or positive, just observing that they're there, accepting them, and just keep focusing on the breathing. And when your mind relaxes, it releases some of those stress hormones and gives you more of the dopamine and serotonin to help you feel happier. So, get in the practice of that. And for me, meditating, I think really has helped me slow down and look at my thoughts in a neutral standpoint, and to kind of separate myself from them, knowing that all the things that I've done throughout my life, or all the thoughts that I really have, aren't necessarily me. They may not necessarily align with who I am in my heart. I may be telling myself over and over again in the past that what I said wasn't enough, what I did wasn't enough, I wasn't a good mom, I didn't co-parent well, things like that that I would say to myself. If it doesn't serve you, let it go. Don't obsess over it. Your energy flows where attention goes. So if you're not familiar with Aaron Doughty on YouTube, he's really taught me a lot about the law of attraction. And he just released, like last week, that that he is actually dating Leor Alexandra, and she is another amazing YouTuber who talks a lot about a law of attraction. And I believe both of them meditate. Aaron especially meditates. He talks about his story with ADHD and taking Adderall and smoking weed, and how the combination of just all of those things weren't working for him anymore. And when he discovered meditation, it really changed his life. So if you're interested in having a male's perspective, I really recommend you looking him up on YouTube. And it's Aaron Doughty. His last name is Doughty. And like I said, he's really amazing and has he breaks it down really well and explains the law of attraction and how meditation really worked for him. So those are two things that I've applied: the law of attraction, meditation before bed. Another thing is I fill my head with enriching material. So like I said before, if you're watching Shameless over and over and over again, and that kind of, you embody those feelings of anxiety and maybe not the lack of everything, the lack of money, the lack of resources, whatever that Shameless, the show Shameless portrays. If that affects you, then maybe start filling your mind with enriching things like podcasts. There's this really great woman, Brooke Costello. She has a podcast, and she is a life coach. She's amazing. She's somebody I started with early on in my personal development, and she just really gave me a better view on my life and how my choices and thoughts shape my reality. So she's another really good one. I mentioned before Casey and Kylie Thibodeau Harvey. They're entrepreneurs. They do Twinspiration every day on Facebook. Check them out. So those are a couple different people or sources that I get my enriching information from. Rachel Hollis, she's a great author. A lot of you women may have heard of her. One of her books is Girl Wash Your Face. I'm in the middle of an audible with her, and she's phenomenal. She's real. Also a mom, so us ladies can relate to that. Let's see. So podcasts, YouTubers, music, calming music. You know, maybe Screamo does it for you, but I would assume probably not. That probably doesn't calm yourself. So just listen to music that's just brings you up, raises your vibrations, makes you happy. Let's see, follow your joy. So I've made common clay in relation to this video. I just like arts and crafts. Anything that brings out my creative side brings me joy. If I can just... So if you're in the mindset of waking up every day and thinking, oh, I'm just rotting away in this house, and you play that over and over again in your head, maybe there's not a lot to look forward to throughout your day, but maybe just setting an intention to do one thing that sparks joy throughout your day, whether that be painting your nails or putting on a face mask, listening to a podcast. So you don't have to have a lot of time to add things that bring you joy or that raise your vibrations, that make you feel better. Listen to a podcast while you're washing the dishes. You know, play in the background some music when you're tending to the kiddos. Just something little that's going to keep you on that high vibe mindset. Another thing that I applied to make myself happier, to have more self-confidence, was to be bold. So I took a huge step and just put myself out there to be judged on YouTube. I have some education and I have some experience, but do I think I'm an expert in the field? Absolutely not. Do I think I'm an expert mom? Absolutely not. Do I apply these things every day of my life? No, I don't. But when I do, I notice the difference. I know how much happier I am, and I can feel that my kids and my husband feel the same. When I write in my gratitude journal every morning, I just have a better outlook on life and the day and what's gonna play throughout the day. So I didn't structure this video very well, but I wanted to get back on here. It's been a little over a week, and I wanted to share a little bit about what I do to better my mindset, and to live a happier, healthy life for me and my kiddos. So let's see. Something I want to talk to you about a little bit more, because I got sidetracked, I go off on tangents sometimes, is meditation. So when I talked about observing your thoughts as opposed to reacting to them and giving them such a charge of a negative or positive. So when you're focusing on the deep breathing and your body's relaxed, one good way that I like to relax is to focus on each part of my body when I'm in meditation, and to have the intent to relax that part. And once that part of my body is relaxed, I move on to the next. So my feet, when my feet get relaxed, I move to my legs. When my legs are relaxed, I move to my stomach. When my stomach's relaxed, I move to my heart and my shoulders and my arms. And it just really helps. In today's society, I think everyone's just rush. There's really no time to stop and breathe. And when you do have that time to calm your body and time to think about who you are as a person internally, I really feel like there's a lot of value there. And I feel like that really gives you a better start point, for your next day. And as Aaron Doughty, that I talked to you about, he recommends meditating once in the morning and once before bed, to just start and end your day in a really good mindset, as opposed to reacting to life, as opposed to waking up and looking at your phone and reacting to what's on Facebook or what's on the news. So when I'm in meditation, sometimes I do guided meditations, which is like with Aaron on YouTube. I'll listen to one of his guided meditations, or you could just do, which would be very mindful, or you could just do meditation that's mindless, where you calm your body so much that your main focus is nothing really, to drop that internal monologue, to just calm yourself. Like your phone, you have to turn off every now and then, or else it's going to overheat. Your body's the same way. If you don't shut down at some point, you're just going to overheat, or you're going to explode, and these negative thoughts and actions that you keep perpetuating over and over and over again are going to continue unless you stop and think about changing some aspect of your life, whether it's your mindset, whether it's the vice that you choose to stuff all your emotions down with, whatever it may be. In meditation, you can lighten yourself. You can take those dark places of yourself and eradicate them from your body to make them not matter as much anymore. So I'll share a little bit of a personal experience that I had in one of my recent meditations. I had a stepfather growing up who, him and my mom would argue a lot, not anything physical, but a lot of verbal attacks and arguing. And I remember late one night waking up and hearing them argue in the living room. So I walked through the hallway, and I screamed at them to stop yelling. And that was really overwhelming for me at the time. I'm a very sensitive person. So I broke down and started crying. And in that memory that I have in my head, I play over and over again I played it over again the same way. I would go and I would yell at them, and I would break down, I'd cry, my mom would give me a hug. And that's the subconscious memory that I remember. This was probably I think I was 8 years old at the time. In my meditation, instead of replaying that vision over and over in my head, for me to heal, I had to experience that differently. I had to play that differently. That vision had to go different in my mind in order for me to heal. So instead of walking out into the living room like I once did in that memory of mine, I walked past my parents and I walked into what was called the sunroom at the time. I went to the big picture window and I just lifted my hands in the air. And it was kind of just like the problem was materialized, like I was lifting the problem out of the window and I was releasing it into the universe, for me to not have to deal with anymore. And when I released that problem, I went back into the living room, and instead of my mom consoling me, my older self, my higher self, I pictured her consoling me. So I was empowering myself. I didn't need to reach out to anybody to make me feel better. I could do it on my own. I knew that internally, in my heart, I could heal myself. So my stepfather, who's no longer my stepfather, after this meditation, I felt a lot lighter. I felt more lighthearted in reference in regards to him, he called my sister just a couple days afterwards and was talking to her, and usually I wouldn't comment or say anything and just stay quiet and let them have their time. But this time, instead of holding resentment towards him, I told her to let him know I said hi, and I think that was a little bit of a shock to him, because that wasn't our normal relationship. We've kind of had an absent relationship for a really long time. So that just helped me heal a little bit. And I feel like when you let go of hate or resentment towards somebody, that just really lightens yourself and makes you a happier person. When you hold on to things like that, it holds you down and makes you heavy, and you continue to live your life in response to these situations that you've experienced. So if you can learn to let them go, if you can meditate or just calm your mind, observe your thoughts, a lot's going to change for you, and in a really good way. So that's my story for you today. I'll be back in about a week. I'm not really sure what I'm going to touch on next, but if you have any ideas, or if there's a problem time for you, or a problem in relation to your kids or your mindset, something that you want to work towards to better, just comment or email me. My email is bbradshaw1990@gmail.com. If you just send me an email, I'd love to get in touch with a lot more moms and help you guys just through the process and just being a better person and having a better mindset in this crazy world. Well, all right. This video's lasted a little longer than my others. Thank you if you watched this till the end. I hope this provided some value for you. And until next time, my ladies, enjoy your, today's a beautiful sunny day. So if you're in Maine, enjoy your day, and I'll see you next time.